literally every project for me, I look at it like a do or die.
This thing is something that Maniratnam would do, and like it's unconsciously inside me.
My ADs come and point it out, and sir, this is like Galatta, this is like this. The moment they say that, I'm like, okay. And he came and hugged me, and he said, enjoy this moment. But I have one more advice for you. Don't take a holiday for the next 3 years. The last couple of years, as much as I'm trying harder for that, it just doesn't happen now. I went in for the narration blind.
Okay.
And I usually go for these kind of narrations only to say no. Because I don't like to do like other people's like stories. I prefer to do my own.
Talk in certain circles about Nepo kid, this, that, and all that kind of stuff.
This whole baggage of Nepo and all that. So even I had my first reservation. But Anand said, just meet her once. You see the test, meet her once. One is the car scene where Adarsh comes to talk to that's one of my favorite scenes because of how he did it and what they played out. Because
and the dynamics of that.
And the dynamics of it. No?
Yeah.
And it's a cliche scene, and that whole thing of him banging on the door and spitting and walking away, he did that, and I was like, wow. So I was blown by it.
This interview is presented by title sponsors Bamal Lorry and Company Limited, a Government of India enterprise with 160 years of trust. MCR Pure Cotton Club, formal and casual shirts, powered by Anuj Styles. Ragangal Palavidam, Vovundrum Ulagataram. Darling AC Tiruvizha, Indiavile Kurainda Madathavanil AC.
Hi Bijoy.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
So, Tu Ya Main, you managed to be very prolific. I'm going to say 2005 you do your short film, 11 Shaitan, 2013 David, 16 Wazir, 17 Solo, 19 Flip, 2020 there's Tesh, 24 there's Dange Por, a bilingual, and then 2026 there's Tu Ya Main. Everyone has to hustle to make a movie, right?
You missed out a couple of things though.
Which one?
Missed out my series, Kala.
Yeah.
And I did a film called Dobara for Z.
Yes, like a couple of the non-theatrical ones. Okay, but tell me one thing.
Everybody, Fame Game, sorry, I forgot Fame Game.
Everybody has to hustle to make a movie these days, right? Because it's not easy. People don't know what audiences are going to watch. What is the Bijoy Nambiar secret for getting projects constantly? I
hustle as much as everyone else, but I like to believe that I'm very persistent with my hustle. So it's literally every project for me. I look at it like a do or die.
Okay.
I treat it like that. And my desperate attempt is to try and lock the next before I finish the one I'm on. I'm always on the lookout for what can I lock next. Okay. While I'm doing this.
While you're doing post-production?
No. While I'm in the middle of it also, there'll be some things cooking, there'll be some things moving, some meetings and all lined up, which I keep following up on.
Okay.
Now at least I have another working producer partner of mine who does that for me, but initially it was just me.
Okay.
But now that producing partner of mine, she does that follow-up for me and makes sure that I kind of keep hitting all those meetings and all those people that I need to follow up with. Okay. So I can try and do that, but as much the last couple of years, as much as I'm trying harder for that, it just doesn't happen now. It feels like it's even more difficult to get locked.
Okay, but as of now, when we have the release of Tu Ya Main, do you have your next locked up?
I have 4 things lined up, which none of them are locked.
Okay.
But there are 4 things up in the air. One of them might get locked. It's like that.
Okay. So the life of a filmmaker today is like there's never enough that you can do to establish yourself.
Nope.
There's nobody coming to you and saying, listen, Bijoy, do this for us. That's not happening.
That does happen, but sad to say that the kind of stuff that comes to me are not the things I would want to even touch with the barge pole. So those kind of things come to me. There are things which are offered,
right,
which I would not see myself doing at all.
Right. So basically this was an extension of something that I've heard, which is like there are 2 things that are very difficult in the film industry. One is entering the film industry and one is sustaining yourself.
Surviving.
Yeah. You agree with that?
Fully.
Yeah.
Fully. Like I said, these 4 things I'm talking about, I've been cooking them for a while, but it just, the final thing of getting it greenlit, getting it locked is just almost impossible.
Yeah.
But that's all. And to double down on the problem is that I'm very aware of the fact that the things that I've done have not been commercially that massive. they've been enough for me to just sustain. So that becomes a problem too, So
Right.
that becomes a problem to get the thing moving.
So, is there something in you that has said, listen, I've done my share of passion projects. You said you won't touch certain films with a barge pole, but these are the ones that I will touch with a barge pole or that are very close to me. You've done those, not gotten the kind of mega commercial success. At any point, have you been tempted to say, listen, let me just go and do something that's the flavor of the season, like Pushpa's working or whatever, or Kantara's working, anything. It could be anything. It could be Sayara. It could be any movie that's really doing kind of well. Has your mind ever told you to like, listen, let's just for once go out and just do something because that's the kind of thing that seems to be working right now?
It's not that even if I think on those lines, it doesn't work like that for me. But even if I choose to think like that, there have to be people who would be ready to back me for that as well.
Right.
So the hustle is there for those projects as well, even if there are completely very mainstream commercial things. So then I feel then might as well put the muscle behind something that I believe in rather than try and do flavor of the season. That doesn't really work.
Okay. So I have a feeling, having seen Tu Ya Main, that this is going to work. I really like the film, Vijay, and I really like what you've done with it, because when like this, we're speaking after a screening that you did here. Now, when the original teaser came out, I just thought it's going to be like a flat out creature feature.
Right.
It's going to be two guys stuck with a giant crocodile kind of thing. The film is so not that. And I don't want to spoil it anymore or too much, but what was your original vision for this? You had the Thai movie that you saw.
I didn't.
You did not.
I did not watch the original.
Oh, you haven't seen it yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
I've seen the trailer.
Okay.
I haven't seen the film.
Okay.
And the very reason what you said, that it's more than a creature feature, is the reason I wanted to do the film.
Okay.
If it was just presented to me as two people stuck in a pool with a crocodile, I wouldn't have done it.
Okay.
At all.
Okay.
And the fact when they called me for the narration, first of all, they didn't tell me that it's an adaptation. When they called me for the narration, they just started narrating this thing to me.
Who called you for the narration?
Anand sir told me to come.
Anand Rai.
Yeah, Anand
Okay.
Rai called me for the narration. And it was Himanshu who had written the story and Abhishek Bandekar who had written the screenplay.
Okay.
So they both...
Abhishek Bandekar?
Yeah.
Who's called Abzi?
Abzi, yeah.
Wow.
Abzi Bandekar. That's,
Okay.
This is his film.
This is his film?
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
This is screenplay.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So I went in for the narration blind.
Okay.
And I usually go for these kind of narrations only to say no. Because
Okay.
I don't like to do like other people's like stories. I prefer to do my own. So I usually go in for that. But 10 minutes in, I was so instantly hooked with the narration. And by the end of it, when I walked out, I was like, I want to do this film.
Okay.
Because it sounded so much fun in the way he told me. And he's a phenomenal narrator. Abhishek is a phenomenal narrator.
Okay.
And Himanshu was just quietly listening. And when they finished the thing, I was like hooked. And I realized that, like you just said, that it is a creature feature, but it's got so many more elements to play with. And that's what really got me going for it.
Right. Actually, I don't think this is a spoiler, but the creature feature element of the movie is actually a metaphor for something else that is happening in the movie.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
it's like, so I don't even know whether to call this a creature feature. you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Because typically when you say creature feature, you're saying there's some X thing that is terrorizing a neighborhood. It's a shark, it's an anaconda, it's something, bees.
It's got those specific.
It's got those specific things, and like horror movies with a ghost in a house and all that.
Right.
It's those. But this is like, wow, where is this going? And that where is this going keeps happening throughout the movie. So you're saying Anand Rai's regular writer, Himanshu, wrote this with Abhishek.
No, Himanshu wrote the story.
Himanshu wrote the story.
The entire story was written by Himanshu. And Abhishek came on board to flesh out the screenplay and the dialogues.
Okay.
So that flavor in the whole tonality of the film was set by Abhishek.
Fantastic.
And it was, I think, the way they both kind of went at it, that's what fully sold me on it. Though it was, I must say, it was a very non-linear script given to me. But then I told them that if I had to do it now, I'll have to own it a bit.
Yeah.
So I told them both to just step back for like, give me 2-3 months on it. And then I did my pass of it. And I did some big changes in it, which I told them read it as a whole, and then once I finished the whole thing, I went to them. I told them that these are the 3 big things I've changed in
Yeah.
it. But they were so welcoming, and I went in thinking, okay, they might not, but they were fully on board.
But Vijay, that is part of the deal, right? Because the thing is, regardless of who's credited as a screenwriter,
Right.
a director ends up being a co-screenwriter because they, like you said, you have to own it.
You have to own it.
Yeah, because
you have to see it, how you are envisioning
Right.
the film.
Just like a director is always going to be a co-cinematographer or a co-costume designer or a co-production designer, because you're not going to let anything pass, any
Right.
department of filmmaking pass without you also having your say in it or your voice in it, or even if the guy is giving music, you want to say, no, I don't want this, I want that. That's all your call, right?
Right.
Phenomenal music, by the way. I wanted to, the guy is again new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's he was referred to me by Adarsh.
Okay.
He's Adarsh's friend.
Adarsh Gaurav.
Adarsh got his friend.
Okay.
From LA.
Okay.
So I just had a brief conversation with him, and though he came referred by Adarsh, but his credentials, like he had finished working on a project Mandalorian and all with Ludwig Göransson. So and I heard all that kind of stuff, and then when I heard the demos, I really liked the quality of the production.
Okay.
So then I told him to start working on some small themes for the film, and he built an entire library for my film. And I think the opening score, the opening piece, the credits and all that role, they are from the demo that he had created.
Okay.
They were the ones that immediately I was like hooked. Again, phenomenal talent. I think it's his first Indian film, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. All right.
First film that he's featured, that he's done.
Right. So tell me about this cast, right? Because you knew that the minute Adarsh is kosher territory because he's worked his way up and all that, he's an outsider and all that. But you know, the minute Shania is going to come in, there's going to be this talk in certain circles about Nepo kid, this, that, and all that kind of stuff. Did that bother you at all? Did it cloud your judgment at all?
When these names were bounced off to me, first of all, when they told me that Adarsh is the name that they're thinking of, I was very excited.
Yeah.
And when Shania's name was popped up to me, I had the same preconceived notion of, okay, do we need to go this route? That was the first, because it's so ingrained into us now that this whole baggage of Nepo and all that. So even I had my first reservation, but Anand said, just meet her once, just see the test, meet her once. I saw the test and I said, okay, I'll meet her, and I think I would want to test her again.
Right.
But my first meeting itself, the honesty with which she came to talk to me about how I wanted to talk to her and ask her that, are you okay to test again, because the scene I saw, it's a bit disconnected from what we are doing. But before I could even say that, she came to me and she said that, I don't know the script. I only got these 2 scenes in isolation. If you don't mind, let me read the script and test again.
Yeah.
And that honesty just cut through to me.
Right.
The way she came and just put me at ease when she said that. And as expected, she read the script, and then when the test happened, I could just see the amount of effort that she's put in to get more closer to that part. Right. And that fully sold me.
Right. So this pairing, tell me about it. Like how do you see that?
It's a very unconventional pairing. We also knew. On paper only, we knew that it's a very curious, unconventional pairing.
Yeah.
And we were kind of going to use that to our advantage. We were going to play hard on that. We're going to lean in more on that and just and take off on it. And luckily for us, that kind of worked in our favor. And when I say worked in our favor, right from the initial the promo that we shot, I kept them away.
Okay.
I made sure that they don't interact much. I didn't rehearse with them. We did the blocking. I told them don't even talk to each other too much. So we did the basic blocking, and then we were just playing off on how they will kind of play off each other. And I could already see that there was going to be a lot of fireworks in terms of, she had no clue in the way she couldn't even figure out what are the things that he's talking about, and she's trying to catch on to what he's saying, and she was asking me in the rehearsal, what does this mean? And so I was seeing that, okay, this is gonna be fun too, and I made sure that Abhishek and me kind of leaned in a bit more on that in the scenes that we played out.
Right.
So that really worked for us.
One thing that I was really impressed by, amongst many things in the movie, is like, of course, let's leave the creature feature, creating the thing that is in the movie. All that's fine, but I was really impressed by how relatable. See, because Adarsh is always going to come off as relatable, because in the conventional sense, when you talk about a guy from the other side of the tracks, he's a not so well off guy. He's trying to make his way up through the music ladder. He's a reels creator, whatever it is. And plus Adarsh is so immensely likable as a performer that you know that right off the bat that this is a guy you're going to root for. What I was not prepared for was how much empathy had gone into the creation of Avni, which is Shanaya's character. She's this super rich, influential, that kind of person. And tell me about creating that character, because not that it's easy to create Adarsh's character. I mean, there's lots of layers there as well. But usually when you see these super privileged kind of people on screen, there's always a remove. Here there is this absolute empathy with, you really get her. She really, like, Avni comes across as somebody that she knows her privilege, but she's also these other things. What did it take to crack that?
Can I be very honest, and this might be at the risk of putting us only down on it, but on paper, that's what it was.
That's what it was?
That's what it was when I say that she was the arrogant archetype.
Okay.
She was the slightly disconnected, detached, because we were playing hard on Adarsh.
Right.
That was very fleshed out. It was bang on in terms of, on paper itself, and then we knew Adarsh will take off. But on paper, Avni was the archetype, creator from a rich family, arrogant. Her first introduction scene was like a very arrogant scene and all that. But the entire shift happened only and only because of Shania.
Okay.
Because of the vulnerability with which she was. It just so happened that the scenes were scheduled in a certain way that we were shooting some of the not the beginning scenes, some of the later scenes first, and that kindness, the honesty, and that so much of the vulnerability. When I saw that in the scenes, in the edit and everything, I went back to Himanshu and Abhishek and said that if we shoot this scene now the way it was written, it will not make sense. It will not ring true, because we should play on her strength, and this is what she's bringing. Let's do that more. And that's why we rewrote some of the earlier scenes and we reshot some one or two scenes to bring that vulnerability more on the face. And because I thought that in the second half it'll actually pay off even better.
Yeah.
And I give all credit to only and only Shania for that, because she saw that like that. She saw it like that and she played it like that. And then when I saw that happening in the first at least 15 days of shoot, when we start, luckily we were lining up and editing on the go, I realized that this is we'll be foolish to go the other way.
Right.
So let's play on this.
Right. No, so that's very interesting, because technically what you did is the right way to make a movie, which is to say, I'm seeing this evolve a certain way. Right. So let's not go with this preconceived notion, and let's play with what we have, and let's take it the way it's organically evolving.
I could take that call, but because it was a script written by Abhishek and Himanshu, I was really hoping that they will come on board.
No, yeah, but I'm saying, in the system that's there in whichever industry, this is usually not a very easy thing to do.
That's
right?
what I'm saying.
Because they usually say, okay, this is your bound script.
Please stick to it.
That's what they'll say, right? It's like, okay, we decided that this is going to be the thing. Let's go with it. So that's the advantage, I guess, of getting certain kinds of producers.
150%. I mean, that's really the advantage, or rather, I think that's one of the best things that happened on this film.
Right.
That my co-creators, Anand sir, Himanshu, Abhishek, they were all so in sync with what I was doing.
Right.
And they really empowered me to believe and go with the conviction.
Right.
And they were like, chalo, even if we fail, even if it doesn't work, we'll look at it then, and then we'll see what we need to do. But if you feel this so strongly about it, go with it.
Okay.
Like the cold open, for instance, I was really selling it hard to them. They were not very sure. I said, let's start like this. Let me sell the idea of the crocodile, because the crocodile is going to come much later. Let me start with this. So, and that was a hard sell.
But I think that's needed, because because the movie is being promoted a certain way, people are going to come in with a certain expectation, and it's going to, I think the cold open is actually very good, because it is all these things. Yeah, I'm like trying not to speak about it.
It's tropey, but at the same time, I think it's needed, like you said.
Yeah, because like otherwise you're wondering, have I walked into the wrong movie?
Yeah.
Or rather, what is this? I came in for a particular kind of movie. What is it that if I may ask, what was the original opening?
Original opening was straight in the pool.
Okay.
Straight away. It starts in the pool.
So it starts with Adarsh, Gaurav and
Yeah,
Shania
Shania.
Kapoor
Stuck
in
in
the
the pool.
predicament that
They are.
before we get into the flashbacks. Okay, all right. So let's talk about Adarsh, right? As an actor, how is it to work with a person like this who has been in very exciting indie-ish projects? And I don't mean this in like an art film kind of way, but the kind of thing. And working with him in a slightly more mainstream kind of zone. What was that like?
So I think we both had to cross that bridge.
Okay.
I had to bring him closer to me, and he was bringing me closer to him.
Okay.
And I think that synergy really worked, because there were some days where I was shooting some things with him, and I could see that he's looking at me and wondering, like, why are we even doing this? What is this? Finally, how is it going to be? I remember I shot this entire concert in the hood, like where we created the stage and he's performing in his locality. And he thought it's gonna be like a very big scene in the film, and I told him no, it's gonna be like 10 seconds in the film. And I told him that at the end of the day of shoot, he was aghast because he was like giving it his all, and he thought this is gonna be like a 10-minute big scene in the film. And I told him no, it's only 10 seconds. It's gonna be a very fast cut in the music video. So I could see the disappointment on his face, but because that's a very different school that he comes from, and I guess it took him time to get used to that. And for me, what took me by complete surprise was, of course, he had prepped for the part. Of course, he had his body language, the way he says certain things. He had all that pat down.
The accent,
all that very pat down. But what I didn't account for was the delivery of it. The delivery of certain lines, the way he said it, which was not on paper. And I said this before, which I didn't tell him how to do it. The way he was doing it, and when he was doing it, of course, I saw the scene is working, but it hit me much harder on the edit. On the edit, when I was watching, and I could see the small things that he's done, the nuances and the delivery and all, which just lifted the scene so much for me. And it was like the scene just, I think, got elevated only because of that.
right?
On the small things made the scene better for me, rather than on what was there on paper.
You can actually, he's one of those rare actors that you can actually see thinking.
Yeah.
On screen.
On screen.
Because my favorite scene in the movie, I mean, one of my favorite scenes in the movie is when he finds out something about Avni, when he's in his shawl, and he's told, at first he's like, who are you to give me advice? I'm going to do my own thing. And then he listens to someone tell him something, and he processes that, and slowly that begins a transformation in his character. Not exactly that he becomes something else, but he begins to think about certain things, and that thinking actually comes through on screen, and that's not something that many actors can pull off. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like so when you mentioned the word music video, and one of the things I really like about your movies, Bijoy, is whether the movie works for me or not at a as a whole. I've always loved how you approach the film as a director, and many people don't seem to realize that directing is a skill of its own, in the sense that I'm not talking about your films or anything like that, but you can have a movie that's not particularly satisfying, but which is still very well directed. You agree with that?
I agree with it. I fully agree with it. Because I look for that in movies. Some movies, I look for the director's voice in movies.
Right. So tell me a couple of examples of movies that you think are like, what well directed?
Like recently I saw Sentimental Value.
Yeah.
Now, you could see that this is the same director who directed Worst Person in the World.
Yeah.
There's such a clear voice in how he's staging the scenes,
Right.
how he's telling the story. And I it's very, like, you know, I enjoy that. I enjoy when I watch a director's movie and I think, okay, this is a very good film. And then I see the follow-up film, or then I see a follow-up film. Like Wes Anderson, I feel, makes the same film.
Yeah.
But he just fine-tunes it, and he just makes it so much better with every film, you know.
Right.
So there's a very clear, very distinctive voice. So I enjoy that. And there are some filmmakers who are completely unpredictable in what they do also.
Yeah.
And yet they have a very strong command.
Yeah.
That also I enjoy. So those are very polarizing things, but this is something I look for when I'm looking at filmmakers.
It's slightly out of syllabus, but when it comes to Wes Anderson, for some strange reason, for example, the Darjeeling Limited is one of my all-time favorite films. But off late, I've turned a little cold, I guess.
Yeah, last two films I think I've also turned cold.
Yeah, it's like boss, I love the fact that you have this style, but now I almost know where the camera is going to be, where the actors are going to be, like, like
there is some fatigue now.
an affectation or whatever. I prefer something like what Spielberg does, for instance, which is looser. Like he can do a West Side Story. That's a great example of a film that didn't work for me entirely as a film, but as a piece of direction, it was spectacular from like start to finish. It was like, wow, what is this guy?
And to take a classic,
take a classic
and then
like and just like reinvent it, and and I love it when people. Another thing I love about your work is that you are not afraid to be flamboyant, and that's something that I look for in films, because I'm not necessarily looking for realism. I don't mind sushi, camera moves and stuff like that, as long as they're in service of something that's being told. Have you faced the accusation that oh God, this guy's all technique and nothing else? Have you faced that? Okay.
I think 2 days back in an interview also I was asked the same question.
You were asked this,
like
question. As in like you're all technique and
this is the criticism you keep getting. What are you doing about it? Kind of. So I keep getting that all the time, and I don't. Yes, I have to take that. If it's something that constantly being thrown at me, then I have acknowledged it, and I am trying. I'm trying hard to kind of break out of that. But like I was telling, that certain things just get stuck with you,
right?
And then it's up to you how hard you trying hard to break that. And I am trying. Let's see.
Okay. Now, what's your favorite scene in Tu Ya Main?
The two favorite moments for me.
Okay.
Tu Ya Main, and it's both are not with the creature. One is the car scene where Adarsh comes to talk to the sister and the brother-in-law.
Yeah. That's exactly the scene I was talking about.
I know.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite scenes because of how he did it and what it played out. Because
and the dynamics of that.
And the dynamics of it.
Yeah.
And it's a cliche scene, but yet to find a new way to do it, and that whole thing of him banging on the door and spitting and walking away, he did that, and I was like, wow. So I was blown by it. And this other scene where Adarsh comes out of the drain, and because he hears that she's been whistling and calling her or something, and he tells her like, you should have screamed harder, you should have shouted harder. And that shock on her face, the way Shania performed that scene for me, those two are like my favorite scenes in the film.
Yeah.
Where she's just like, how can you accuse me to do this? Like, I'm trying.
Yeah. But when you're leading, this is the emotional part of the story, right? Now, there's obviously the more popcorny part of the story, which is the crocodile, and trying to escape, and the dog. Another thing, I was sitting right next to somebody who was screaming like for every 10 minutes. So
we're gonna get so many galis for that.
So, but how fun was that? Because that's again a zone where that's very new for you.
Was completely new for me, which is why I was enjoying it. I was enjoying every aspect because even I have to imagine how it's gonna be. So. You do an action scene, you figure out more or less how it's going to be. You have done it, like I've done it so many times, so you know. But here you are completely in unknown territory because you're relying on the animatronic, you're relying on the VFX, you're relying on the plates that you've shot.
Right.
So as much as you've prepped, pre-viz, storyboarded, the final thing, you're still up in the air. You have no idea how it's going to be.
Right.
So till the last asset came in also, I was still not sure how it's going to come out. And I was only hoping that even if I get 60% of what I'm planning for, I'll edit. I'll figure out a way to edit. But kudos to the FX team, the VFX team and the animatronic guys. They really stepped up. And I think I really annoyed the hell out of both of them. But they really delivered and helped make all those dynamic scenes like look so effective.
Right.
So it really, I think it was like almost like a gamified experience, all of us together. But it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Okay. Would you say this is the most fun you had directing a movie, or is every movie fun?
Every movie is fun. If it's not fun, I wouldn't do it.
Okay.
I won't do it.
Okay. So you got to have a peculiar kind of madness to do this.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
You can't just say, I want to be like a movie director and relax and chill and... Can you be that?
I don't think it'll work for us. For coming from the Manisar School of Filmmaking, a relaxed film set is not something we can ever be used to.
Okay. But tell me one thing. You keep talking about Mani Ratnam, you're his fan for life, you're his...
AD for life.
AD for life. All that is there. But have you noticed something in you that you've noticed, you know what? this thing is something that Maniratnam would do, and like it's unconsciously inside me, and so I want to kind of move away from that because I want to be my own director, not in a bad way, but like sometimes when we learn from somebody, certain things come inside, like like for instance, when I started writing, I was reading my idols, right? It's like, so a lot of that came into my, and I had to then filter out certain things and then develop my own. That's the sense I'm asking.
So the moment I get aware of it, I immediately try and backtrack and see, okay, how is it that I can do this differently?
Right.
The moment I'm aware, but there are a lot of times I'm unaware. I'm doing things. Right. Certain things, it can be a shot, it can be a scene in the writing of it. So those things I have no control on. But the moment I'm made aware of, or I myself am aware of it, I definitely backtrack.
Like, can you give me an example of something?
In the writing of it, I think a couple of scenes of mine, there have been instances where my ADs come and point it out and, sir, this is like Dalapati, this is like this. The moment they say that, I'm like, okay. Let's see.
So that's
what
coming
can
from there. Okay.
So then I try and see how to make it my own, and it can be, the scene can be the same, but then I figure out how to stage it differently or what I can do differently, because I don't want to lose out on the essence of what I'm trying to do.
Right. Now you're saying that you work insanely hard. You're not used to relax film set and stuff like that, but do you also take vacations?
No.
You don't take a vacation after?
So this is something I blame Anurag Kashyap for.
Okay.
Because he, I remember walking out of the Shaitan film screening, and he came and hugged me and he said, enjoy this moment, but I have one more advice for you. Don't take a holiday for the next 3 years. He said that. He said, don't take a holiday for the next 3 years.
But Shaitan was...
Exactly. But it just got stuck to me. And so every time after that was 2011, after that, whenever I used to take it, that needs to always play in my head. And now I am that person that I don't really enjoy holidays. I'm very weird about it. I get restless in holidays.
Wow.
Yeah. So for me, work is a holiday. Like when I travel for work, like I recce or something, that's nice. That's fine. But separate holiday.
So you don't, do you have a place that you can visit so you switch off from films? No.
Nope.
Like
I might go to the smallest town in Switzerland, but I look for a theatre.
Okay. What was that?
Which movie I went to watch in Switzerland?
Yeah.
Anatomy of a Fall.
Anatomy of a Fall.
Yeah.
Okay, which town in Switzerland?
It was, I think, somewhere near Interlaken or something. That's right.
Okay, Interlaken. But did you go there for a shoot or?
I went for a shoot. I went to shoot a commercial which got cancelled. So then
you went to shoot a commercial,
which got cancelled.
And then you said, I'm not going to look around this place.
I did look around, but then in the evening I was like, okay, where can I go find a film to watch?
Okay. So I can't ask you questions like, are you a mountains person? Are you a beach person?
I'm a movies person.
You're a movies person. Fantastic. But thank you so much, Bijoy. Thanks for making the time, and all best wishes for this film. I really, really liked it, and I hope it clicks with others too.
Really, I hope so too, and I'm glad you liked it. Thank you.
This interview is presented by title sponsors Bamal Lorry and Company Limited, a Government of India enterprise with 160 years of trust. MCR Pure Cotton Club, formal and casual shirts, powered by Anuj Styles. Rangangal Palavidam, Vovundrum Ulagataram. Darling AC Tiruvizha, இந்தியாவிலே குறைந்த மாத தவணையில் AC.